Released on 7/7/77, this would be the 10th spy adventure film in the James Bond series, and the 3rd starring Roger Moore, the franchise's longest-serving leading man. Directing his second 007 movie, Lewis Gilbert seems curiously afraid of the close-up in this picture, with nearly all of the static shots existing as loose medium or completely wide shots. Inherently, it was the style of the time and makes the exciting action set pieces easy to follow, but watching this movie for the first time in its native 2:1 aspect ratio was a jarringly distant experience for me. The most expensive Bond picture produced at the time was nominated for 3 Oscars and grossed $185 million worldwide. The plot follows Bond reluctantly working alongside his Russian counterpart, Agent XXX, during the height of the Cold War, to locate and recover 2 missing nuclear submarines. Finally developing his own playful and tongue-in-cheek style, Moore is convincing as a suave and flirtatious Bond, but he almost seems afraid to get his hands dirty at times, a stark contrast to the character's portrayal by later actors. More than capable of holding her own, future wife of Ringo star Barbara Bach does a great job in the action sequences, but her rigid acting and puzzled delivery makes many of the slower scenes awkward to watch, even if she does routinely distract with revealing outfits. German actor Kurt Jürgens stars as the sadistic villain who is hell-bent on an atomic war between the East and the West that'll make his underwater ocean paradise, unoriginally named Atlantis, the only hope of the human race. This ridiculous and tired scheme would be shamelessly rehashed just a couple years later in the even more comical Moonraker. I will say one thing though, the absurdist nature of this premise, coupled by the campy disco-themed score by Marvin Hamlisch, is what makes these goofier 70s-era Bond films all the more enjoyable. One of the few themes not to be named after the film itself, Carly Simon's Nobody Does It Better is a true classic, even earning an Academy Award nomination. Jürgens barely shares 60 seconds of screen time with Moore in a forgettable role that ends anticlimactically. Luckily, the number 2 baddie, a 7-foot-tall henchman with steel teeth known as Jaws, gives Bond a run for his money. The stubborn mute brute plays cat and mouse with our hero every step of the way, making for some thrilling and intimate combat scenes. Opening with a spectacular downhill ski chase in the Austrian Alps, The Spy Who Loved Me features some impressive, memorable, and huge battle scenes. Unfortunately, it also slows to a near standstill to dish out much of its heavy and long-winded exposition in the early scenes. The locations are exotic, the costumes fun and revealing, and the gadgets are uber cool. From the ski pole gun to the portable jet ski to arguably the best car in the series' illustrious franchise, the fully submersible Lotus Spirit, which Bond adeptly uses to outrun evil scuba divers with onboard torpedoes, landmines, and surface-to-air missiles.
Can you swim?
At 2 hours and 5 minutes, this spy adventure begins to feel a bit long in the tooth by the final curtain. But for all its quirks, pacing issues, boring cinematography, and stale acting, The Spy Who Loved Me is still largely ridiculous, but unquestionably fun. Now that you've heard my review, let's check out some of the YouTube comments for some of yours. Here's a Rate-O-Matic, an 8 and a 7 for The Spy Who Loved Me. You enjoyed the campy fun quality to it and praised the iconic Jaws character, as well as the attractive Bond chick. You thought this was a great film. I was more reserved. This film certainly has not aged well, and is perhaps better suited for younger audiences, as the whole thing feels a bit silly now. But it's still a fun time to watch every now and then. I thought it was cool.